Check it out. Have a look at this. What do you guys think? This headgear, this absolute abomination lime green headpiece that I'm wearing, I've purchased because I'm going to be wearing it in, of course, the Sportshed charity match next Sunday, not tomorrow, the week after. I thought I wanted something that looks like the Leaguie, but also just helps me stand out a little bit. So this is it. I literally picked it up this morning. I'm certainly going to stand out on that live stream. I'm going to stand out for that crowd. It's going to be cool. And who knows? I mean, maybe if one of you guys are going to come to the game, might be lucky enough to get it afterwards. I always said if I was an NRL player, I'd be one of the NRL players that wears headgear because I could give it away to people after the game. So we'll see. We'll see. Alex Neal says, didn't know the Sydney Thunder did rugby league now. I am a Sydney Sixers man through and through. I know the colour might suggest otherwise, but do not be mistaken. NRL Head, no, unfortunately my laptop is not better. I called about it today, but we're still doing the makeshift thing so far. So if there's issues, I mean there shouldn't really be, there won't be major issues, but if there's anything, it's a bit of a miracle, as I said yesterday, that these streams are happening at all. So we've patched it all together. But I'm excited about this game for a slightly different reason to yesterday. Yesterday we were seeing two sides who were rather full strength, at least more so than you would expect from a normal trial match. Today is different. Today I feel like we're not seeing the same level of strength, but we are seeing guys that have been spoken about for a long time, particularly on the side of the Raiders. The Raiders are really going into a period now where they're focusing on recruiting young guys with the promise of first grade footy, guys who are exciting, who have been spoken about as having long-term NRL potential careers in the future. A guy, for example, is Owen Paddy, who's at hooker for them today. And the Rugby League Guru, for example, reckons that Owen Paddy is probably the best hooker coming through anywhere at the moment, and is their long-term solution. They've struggled in recent years with Zach Wolford, Danny Levi, Tom Starling. He thinks Paddy is the solution that will really nail down that spot. Another one, Chevy Stewart, that we saw last year in glimpses. He'll be playing at fullback, so that's exciting to see. And Ethan Sanders lining up at halfback for the Raiders. So we get to see this sort of, not even necessarily next generation. They're here now. We get to see these guys that potentially throughout the season for the Raiders, especially if they don't go so well, will start to get blooded and start to, develop into proper NRL players. I've just seen there's no music. I'm not sure why there's no music. There should be music. Okay, music's back now. Yes, and on the other side of the field, as Michael Bay correctly points out, Isaiah Papali'i will line up for the Panthers. It's interesting with him. I had a little look in the pre-game, just doing a little bit of study for the matches I do. He's 25. That is insane. 20, like, I thought he'd been around forever. Absolutely forever. But let me just confirm that. Isaiah Papali'i. Oh, he's 26. He's 26. My bad. He's 26. Anyway, that is super young. It feels like he's been around for such a long time. So to have him at that age coming into the Panthers system is intimidating for any other team. So to see him in Panthers gear for the first time tonight will be exciting. There was a message in the chat that I saw earlier. Oh yeah, NRL Head says old Panthers logo. Yeah, as I said, this was patched together super last minute, don't worry. Predictions, Leaguie says Rugby 101. Probably Panthers. Just because there's a little bit more first grade experience in that side, but this is a classic trial that really could go either way. It is hard to predict. As we see Ethan Strange, that I don't believe he is playing today. Does anyone, by the way, know why on earth this match is being played at Shark Park? I thought it was a mistake on NRL.com when I looked it up and saw Shark Park. It must just be a scheduling thing. I mean, I guess Penrith Stadium is under redevelopment. Maybe they're like, we don't want to play it at Combank. So maybe, but Shark Park? Really? There was nowhere between Penrith and Cronulla? Because, like, no one's going to show up tonight. Absolutely nobody. I was even tempted to go myself, being Cronulla Sutherland local, because I thought the chances of being on TV are 100%. I'll be the only person in that crowd. Tiger Walk says, "Leaky, please take off the headgear." I thought it would be like a I thought it would be a bit of a hit with the fans. Oh, Tiger Walker says, for the clock, maybe screen share the clock from Fox League. I know I've had trouble screen recording Fox stuff in the past. It like blacks out the screen, but I could try and look to a way around it, because that's a pretty good idea. And yeah, don't worry, Red Vodcast, I will 100% put that fantasy thing together. I'll do it as a community post, and I'll put it in the comment sections of a few videos. Tiger Walker says played at Campbelltown. I mean, that's a better option than Shark Park, I would think. But anyway, yeah. Green Cobra, what is that even for, brother? The charity match. I'm going to be wearing this in the charity match. I will take it off. I will take it off before the game starts, but I wanted to, you know, show it off so that for those of you who do watch the live stream of the charity match, only $5, or for those of you who attend the match, you'll know to look out for this. Goofy Edit says, Leaguie, reminder, you should play prop. I don't think I should play prop. I'm intimidated enough that I'm playing in the second row. I've done a training session now with some of the guys and seen the guy who's also playing second row on the other side of the field, and he's huge. He's huge, he's muscular, he is built like a brick. So I'm like, okay, I'm not quite that. I'm not quite that. So maybe not prop, but we'll see. Caleb, I'm wearing headgear for the charity match. All good. I will make a fantasy league though, for NRL head. Jack Alexander just earlier said top 4 predictions. As I said yesterday a lot, I haven't put my ladder predictions together yet, but Storm definitely there, Panthers definitely there, Cronulla definitely there. A lot of people are saying Manly as the 4th best team, but I'd have to look through the draws and the strength of the draw. It does play a much bigger role than a lot of people give it credit for. Wouldn't mind maybe the Cowboys as a smoky. Just thinking through that, no huge losses. Valentine Holmes has been iffy for them in recent years anyway. So maybe Cowboys if they have a good year. Maybe Cowboys. Tiger Walker thinks the headgear is cursed. Leaguie is 13. Look, I could be a bit of a ball playing lock. We'll see. I wouldn't say my ball playing is the best. I can pass from right to left. I can't really pass from left to right, but that's okay. I'll just be a super predictable 13. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, and NRL Head's cousins played for Sixers. That's very cool. Goofy Edits turned into Xavier Coates when he did that crazy try. Oh, I could replicate that. Easy. I'm a peak. This is the peak male form. I could 100% do that. Alex Neal, though, says, got to put the Broncos in the top 4 this year. I don't think you got to do that, especially with Mam out to start with. They're a good team on paper. Whether they can adjust to a Michael Maguire style of coaching, very different to a Kevin Walters style of coaching, we'll see. And that it might take them half a season to do so. So that's why I'd have them more as a contender for going deep into the finals, potentially. But I don't know if they have the consistency throughout the season to make top 4. Second row would definitely, says Goofy Edits. Yeah, I reckon. Try to break everyone's ribs. No, I promise you, I'm going to be holding the ball tight and running it straight. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to, in defense, just try and make my tackles. Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy at all. Red Vodka says something important about our man Tom Hazelton, the first try scorer from last night. He's an absolute cult hero here on the Leaguie channel. It was interesting to see that the Dragons are in the box seat if the Sharks can't retain him, because I thought he was meeting with Newcastle. But that's the kind of thing the Dragons need up front. They are lacking a little bit of strength up in the forwards. Obviously, Francis Molo, he's having his issues with the club. I haven't seen anything like this, but presumably if Francis Molo has problems, Michael Molo's position at the club might be a little bit iffy. So, yeah, for them to get him, if they do, would be awesome. Would be very, very good. But as Danny rightfully says, Sharks fans should be absolutely devastated. I mean, he's not gone yet, and I'm sure his preference is to stay at Cronulla. And the reports did say Dragons in box seat if Cronulla can't retain him. So they'll be trying to move around their cap and find a way to keep him, because I'm sure he's a popular guy in that playing group. No doubt. So for those of you who haven't seen the Tiger Walker but weird in the chat, and Tiger Walker the original are having beef, and it's been very interesting to watch. It's been very entertaining, much more entertaining than any of my actual videos. So I think it's the most entertaining thing to have happened on the Leaguie channel so far. That's I mean, we're all talking about the UFC fights in Sydney. That's the only fight that I want to see. Tiger Walker versus Tiger Walker, but weird. GR Pete says, thought Hazleton was heading to not to the Brisbane Dolphins. Yeah, with Christian Wolf in there, they're trying to, I think, go a bit more of a Super League route. They've signed Morgan Knowles, who's a 13 from St Helens. So potentially having got him, their interest in Tom Hazleton, obviously another middle forward, lessened a bit. Speaking of signing people from the Super League, one guy who I didn't mention earlier, Matty Nicholson, I believe is his name, playing for the Canberra Raiders today. He's the guy who's sort of seen as the heir apparent for Elliot Whitehead, obviously English back rower who had been there forever at the Raiders. He's Matty Nicholson. Captain of the club, Elliot Whitehead. So Matty Nicholson has some pretty good raps on him. He's got some big shoes to fill down in the nation's capital, but we'll get to see a first look at him today. And I'd say as well, the Martin brothers, Miles Martin, Noah Martin, they're all forwards. Jordan Martin's the other one for the Raiders. Watch out for them today. Lance Koshny says, he points out something that I'm surprised no one's pointed out before. Does the green headgear mean you're a Raiders fan? I did wonder, like, how long was it going to be until someone pointed out I'm wearing lime green headgear on a Raiders stream? I'm surprised. There we go. But no, it does not mean anything. It's the same color as almost the same color as the microphone and everything else. Sorry that the camera's a little bit janky. It's connected through Wi-Fi. I couldn't get it to connect through cable. Anyway, Danny says, I have blue headgear and I'm not a Dogs fan. Yeah, well, a lot of people just go the stock standard white headgear, but I thought I want something else. I want to look, a little bit more out there. So, Red VLcast, I've always thought about the green and Raiders. To be honest, I'm surprised that no other NRL content creator had gone with the green and white color scheme. Because literally, I experimented with so many color schemes, but I landed on it because it's the color of a field. It's a green field with white lines. Anyway, we see the Raiders running out for the first time this year. I've got to say, I am not a big fan of that jersey. Probably looked a little bit better in the promo pictures than that. But then again, in the past, the Raiders have just gone with a plain white jersey as their away. So maybe it's not that bad to go with something that's a bit more blue, a bit more yellow. But I do wish there was maybe a little bit more green on the sides there. They are, after all, the green machine. Rugby 101 says, if Raiders start well, they will have a chance. Yeah, I mean, most definitely. But in a trial match, I think either side really has a chance. Because, as I say, once the more established guys go off the field, it's very hard to judge the relative capabilities of the two, like reserve grade sides or even below that, Harold Matt sides. And yeah, Tigers points out there's 15 people in the stream yesterday, yet so many messages. I think people were just excited to be back, to be honest. So we're about to kick off. As expected, absolutely no one there. Literally, I can't see a single person. On the camera side, there's kickoff if you guys want to sync up with me. Panthers do get first possession. Schneider gives it to Liam Henry. I believe it's Liam Henry anyway. He's a guy... Oh no, sorry, Preston Rickey looks like Liam Henry. Liam Henry, though, he's a guy with a lot to prove this year. Obviously, Lindsay Smith is the guy who's like a bit of a shoe-in to replace James Fisher-Harris, but Henry could. Didn't know the Dogs were playing, says Tiger Walker. It does look a lot like Canterbury. That's true. My God. Knock on there by the Raiders, surely. Got intent, though, from them early. Looking back at Caleb's predictions, ladder predictions, Storm, Roosters second. My God, okay. Sharks, Cowboys, Manly, Finns top 8. Bold. Knights top 8. Also kind of bold. Dogs, Tigers, Rabbits, Raiders. Yeah, I don't think Broncos will finish that low. I don't think Eels will finish that low. Just give me a moment. I'm going to unplug and replug the camera because it's lagging a bit. Oh, wait. Garfield. Okay, we back. That should be a bit better. Nice. So Panthers will get first little attacking opportunity now inside the 30, and they knock on. There we go. Absolute commentator's curse there. And they're talking about the rain. Yeah, that's something I was wondering, because I live in the local area of this game, and yeah, it's been just gloomy all afternoon. Oh, there's one Raiders fan I saw in the background there wearing lime green. Good on him. Garfield for the first time this year. Nice. Teo says, do you know which professional players are going to be at the charity match? Yes. So on my team, we're going to have Mitchell Pearce and Todd Carney playing in the halves. The other team will have Blake Austin and another big name yet to be confirmed. I can't yet say who that is. Not allowed to reveal that information. But also Greg Inglis is going to be in attendance at the game, working on the sideline, because my team is representing the Goanna Academy, which is his side, his charity. Now another error from the Canberra Raiders. I believe that is it Matty Nicholson? The man who I was talking about earlier, replacing Elliot Whitehead. Oh no, it was a forward pass. They showed Nicholson. So that was Adam Cook in at number 6. So a very drab start to the game so far. Lots of handling errors, but it is raining. It is trials that will happen. Aussie says, ain't no way they actually got Mitchell Pearce playing. They did. Yeah, Pearce and Todd Carney. So being in the back row, I'll be lining up next to one of those two. Not quite sure who yet. So Panthers now. Sione Fanua. That's a good rugby league name. Sione Fainu, Mahe Fanua. Fanua Blake. There's lots of good Fanuas. So Brad Schneider playing at 7 today. Obviously, when we saw him line up last year alongside Jerome Luai, he was primarily playing as a 6, Luai being the game managing half. So we'll get to see him today really take a bit more charge. He's got the ball in his hands now and does just run at the line. Tugger says, open the blinds behind you. That feels like a threat. Why should I do that? So Tola, now Dane Laurie across nearly from Asu Kapoa, the former West Tiger, Sydney Rooster, I believe he was in their system. But execution, as we saw yesterday, a little bit lacking. Have any of these sides got to a kick yet? I don't think they have. Goofy Edit says, where is the website where I can see the Leaguie lineup? You mean for the charity match? It's on all the Sportshed TV social media pages. So Raiders, will we see... I want to see some predictions in the chat. Are the Raiders going to get through a set here? Are we going to see a team actually complete a set? That would be insane. They do get over the 40 now on the 3rd. I think I heard a shout of 6 more there. Yes, 6 again. Guess as if the image was blurred, I could not tell you the difference between the Raiders and the Dogs jersey. Absolutely. From the back, it looks well and truly like a Dogs jersey. I'm sure that's what a lot of people are talking about right now. It's a good run there from Chevy Stewart. Now through Adam Cook, and we see another knock on. Nope, cannot get through a set. Now it's with, I think that's Jesse McLean. Can't get through a set. Just going to, just for a sec, because I know the camera's very janky right now. Give me a moment. Robin101 says, Leaguie, do you think the Raiders have a chance this year? If we're saying chance for a premiership, I doubt it quite a bit. But they are definitely a top 8 chance, just because you can't ever rule them out. They always overachieve for some reason. So, yeah, I think it's a brave man who rules them out of contention for anything. Yeah, I know the camera's off at the moment. I'm just fixing some issues with it. Black screen go hard. What, you think that's better than actually seeing me? That's absolutely brutal. Can't believe you'd say that. So we see the Raiders working it out of their own end here. With an Albert Hopewadi. So he's got the ball at the moment. He's playing centre tonight. We've seen him mostly as a winger in his NRL career so far. And it is interesting to me to see him line up in the centres, because I thought he was a good chance to play wing this upcoming season, but maybe not. Okay, hopefully the changes I just made will make it a little bit smoother, but we'll see. If not, as I say, I'm working with a bit of a makeshift setup here. Good take there from Dane Laurie. And both sides now have got to their kicks at the end of sets. So good to see they are just sort of settling into this game. Tiger says, League, you catching a horse, aren't you? Am I catching a horse? What does that mean? Danny, I'm just reading through your ladder prediction. Don't mind that at all. Yeah, I think that's hard to disagree with. Pretty hard to disagree with. So now it's our 3rd consecutive kick. That's insane after the start that we had. Big, strong run there from Michael Asuma, the Raiders winger. These are two of the teams who are really good at youth development in the NRL. Two of the more dominant teams. Like Penrith, obviously, we've seen their success. But the Raiders are developing players. Given that Canberra isn't exactly, I guess, family-oriented heartland. It's pretty impressive stuff. Their junior recruitment, for sure. Cymru and Mackham, another disappointing season coming for the Warriors, unfortunately. Probably, with the halves that they have. They weren't that bad yesterday. I was impressed by Luke Metcalf, but it's hard to see them competing at the top end of the table. Good take there from Casey McLean, and he draws a penalty. As Matty Nicholson got right up in him. Let's see on the replay here. Yeah, just eyes on the ball. I wasn't Nicholson. It was the Raiders winger. And geez, he hit the ground hard. Raiders winger, Jed Stewart. So a couple of Stewarts in the back line for the Raiders, although spelt differently. Fanmate says, I want the Dolphins to do well, but I don't see that happening. There's a decent chance. There's a decent chance of them doing well, just with the development of Isaiah Katoa. They've got Daniel Saifidi in for this year. They're going to get Tom Gilbert back, but the hangover of Wayne Bennett is undefeated. It is very undefeated. If I don't read through your ladder predictions, my bad. They are obviously very long messages. Penrith on the attack on the 4th tackle, nearly up to the 30, not quite past it yet. Now across, Brad Schneider will put a kick up. These two sides now being very disciplined. Stewart underneath. Dane Laurie didn't really contest much for that ball. was just happy to make sure Stewart didn't get any meters and soak up a tackle. Yeah, Aussie says, I think Dolphins will drop because of Uncle Wayne factor. Don't see them getting the spoon, though. Yeah, I wouldn't say I see them getting the spoon. But then again, I don't know who I do see getting the spoon either. So Raiders up just past the 40 now as the tackle count ticks over to the 4th. Already we're seeing the Raiders, they've got number 22 on at a hooker, Sean Packer. So that was a late change from them because I was looking forward to seeing Owen Paddy, but he's coming off the reserves, I can see on NRL.com there. So is Ata Mariota, who's like a real established first grader. I was surprised to see that he wasn't starting in this. A bit like Freddie Lussick yesterday. Titans for the spoon, says NRL head. They've got so many good players, though. As the Penrith Panthers do draw a penalty there, I believe, for offside. That looks like Noah Martin. It's one of the Martins. I get all the Martins confused. But it is pretty amazing. We've had like the most just error-prone start to this game, and then all of a sudden neither side is dropping the ball. But yeah, Titans, I mean, Keanu Keeney, Jaden Campbell, David Fafita, Tino Faso Malawi, AJ Brimson. Like, it's just hard to see them coming last. Even Kieran Foran is still producing at a high level. Sam Barrels, Chris Randall, Bo Fermor, Fodawaker. So, and signing Regan Campbell-Gillard. It's hard to see that team on paper coming last. Danny's correct. This year is super hard to predict. So Panthers, having drawn that penalty, now will have a decent attacking opportunity. 3 tackles still left for them. Preston Ricky tackled. Now across through Schneider, who gives a short ball there to Maverick Gaia, a guy who I'm expecting will have a bit of a breakout year this year. He's been around a little while now. Schneider dummies, goes himself. Potentially high contact there from number 13, Miles Martin. Grubber in from the hooker. Chevy Stewart, I think, got a boot to it, and it's just 6 more. He got a boot to it, played at the ball, but didn't gather it up. Now there's an opportunity. Big overlap out to the side. Casey McLean with the ball. Feints off Canberra's number 4, but then is monstered by the other Canberra Raiders teammates. Tiger, yes, my favourite player, absolutely, Drew Clutcherson. He's the greatest rugby league player I've personally ever seen. So Panthers, still 3 tackles left. Now through Preston Ricky. Up through the middle. 2 left. They are spreading the ball a bit, but not quite finding the overlaps they want. Schneider to Jack Cole finds Asu Kapoa, who digs back into the middle of the field. Decent run, but still not really making progress. Last chance now. Schneider puts it through the hands, and Dane Laurie's just wrapped up there by Albert Hapawadi. So good defensive resilience there from the Raiders. They are known to be a very good, gritty defensive side, but to stand up against a Panther side that has a lot of talent in it, that's impressive stuff. That's good stuff. And there's those possession stats, 65% to Penrith. And obviously that will level out as the game goes on, but it doesn't surprise me with those repeat sets, as Raiders do draw a penalty now from Belinda Sharp. Preston Ricky, the man who gives it away. So now they'll have a bit of an opportunity to just wrestle back a little bit of that field position battle that they are losing at the moment. And right, it says Drew is annoying to watch as a Doggies fan. I think I was at... Was it the game that you lost? You got smashed by the Cowboys late last year, and I think Hutchison was hooked at halftime. Tiger says, Leaguie, who do you think has more comments on this channel, you or me? Definitely you. I comment me. Oh, actually, no, I do reply to people. No, so it's got to be me. It's got to be me. I reply to a lot of people. I don't know, though. I don't know the answer. Oh, I think we've seen an error there. Is it the ball roll? Yes, there we go. It's the ball roll. Chevy Stewart. So I'm curious to see how many of these ball rolls we see. Obviously, it's now been 15 minutes. And there's the first one. I have a little bit of sympathy for the players yesterday being caught out by it. But surely, with what we saw yesterday, The players today would know, and they'd be thinking, don't roll the ball, don't roll the ball. You'll give away a penalty. Oh, not a penalty, a changeover. Unfathomably based to penalise that. Agree, Lancaster. Absolutely agree. But yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, we've already seen a full 80 minutes of it. We'll see how many of them there are tonight. One so far. Dane Laurie gets the ball with a little bit of space, but then is wrapped up by Ethan Sanders. And Arta Mariota, I think it is. Oh, there we go. The Panthers hooker Luke Somerton found a little space behind the ruck there. 4th tackle now for Penrith. Puts the ball in the hands of Schneider. Now Trent Tolau, a guy who's a decent shout to play 14 for them this year. Last tackle, they've got numbers out here to the left. Jack Cole goes himself and is just tackled. Dies with the ball. Jeez, I mean, I think if Jack Cole goes through the hands there, there's a decent chance that they score. Oh, I'm frozen. Sorry, guys. I really don't know why the camera isn't... That's pretty terrible. God damn. Give me a moment. I'll try and fix it up. So tackled in opposition 30 there. We're seeing 13-0. Doesn't surprise me that the field position battle has well and truly been won by Penrith so far. Just doing a little bit of DIY here. Give me a sec. Camera quality is going to be a little bit worse, but it's going to be definitely smoother. Okay. We've sacrificed a bit of quality, but it's going to be smooth as hell. That's my absolute guarantee. So Panthers now, last tackle, little grubber kick in behind. And we have our first line dropout. Good recovery there from the Raiders. NRL says, where are you? I am at my family home. For now, well, I'm tomorrow moving back down to Canberra for the start of the university year. And I'm looking forward to showing you what I've got planned for the setup there. Might not all come into place to start with, but got some decent ideas for the setup. Tiger says, I've always wondered what the bookshelf looked like from Leaguie's computer. Well, now you know. So knock on there from the Raiders. Nearly executed the short dropout. Not a bad idea. Good to see that the short dropout is alive and kicking in 2025. Gotta say, I am not a huge fan of it, for those of you who don't already know. But yeah, geez, I mean, it's flat. It's certainly flat, but you got to make a call, and I don't mind the call of that being forward. This camera's not that bad. I thought it would be worse. Definitely better than me freezing all the time. Brad Schneider runs the ball himself. Lots of running halves so far in these first 2 games. Now Maverick Geyer, close to the line. Surely Canberra have got a crack at some point here. I reckon Penrith will get a try in this set. Somerton in dummy half. On the third, tackle's sort of still running out. Jack Cole over the top, ends up in the hands of Casey McLean, and he'll go over the sideline, I think. Yeah, okay, so that's interesting. I mean, it was touched by Canberra, set restart, but not a knock-on or anything, and Casey McLean's tackled over the sideline. Again, fantastic defense from the Raiders. That's promising stuff from the Canberra side. Someone mentioned earlier, did I watch the Test cricket? I watched the entire series against India. Absolutely loved it. The Test against Sri Lanka, I've been keeping an eye on, but I haven't watched them, just with the NRL season now coming back. I like cricket a lot, but it very much is just a distraction from the NRL to me. As Raiders draw another penalty here. So this is a repeat of what we saw last time, as they were working out of their own end. And that's when we saw the tunnel ball. So high contact they've ruled the penalty for. NRL Head says, who do you think will be 5'8" Panthers? Blaze Talangi. Absolutely no doubt it's going to be Blaze Talangi, in my opinion. Danny says, what are your thoughts on Netflix or Prime getting rights to the NRL? Not a big fan of it. Oh, Raiders now down the side. Oh, they've roared forward pass. Jeez, Raiders were through. They'd done it. Oh, no, it's not forward pass. They just ruled to play the ball again. Not sure what the ruling actually is there. But, geez, they were through. Could have been very, very against the run of play. Look at that now. Tackled in opposition half. 38 and no points conceded. That is impressive stuff. Lancaster, free my boy Mav Gaia. He didn't do anything. I like Maverick Gaia. I like him. But I'm expecting a bit of a breakout year from him. If he doesn't really do that much this year, his ability as an NRL standard player will come into question, I think. JRP, it would be nice if they take more trials to NZ and WA, maybe Tasmania to test the waters. Otherwise, it'll be worth it. I mean, I think just not many people would really show up. But yeah, it would definitely be nice. I'm absolutely in favour of the more games you play over there, the better. Dennis says, I know NRL will probably still be free to wear. I just watched the video. It gets really complicated. Yeah, I'd need to look more closely at the whole rights thing with Netflix potentially. The only upside I would see of it is that we'd probably see very good Netflix caliber like documentaries and stuff. But I do think the impact of that is a little overhyped. People think it's like some golden ticket to international attention. And it's pretty good, but you know, the market for that's already pretty saturated. We've seen Drive to Survive, we've seen Sunderland Till I Die. There's only so many sports documentaries that people will really watch. And yeah, Tiger, I knew pretty much that you two had something to do with each other. Possession, so evening out just a little bit, but still 62 to 38. Alanka says, Mav and I were friends in high school. Oh, okay. But honestly, he's probably only just a step above fringe first grader. Maybe that changed with some more experience, but that's my thought. As Casey McLean now through the line, palming off Raiders at will. Has he broken that tackle? Oh no, he was held. Does go back, plays the ball. One last tackle here for Penrith. They do get boot to ball, gets in behind the line, but Chevy Stewart does wrap it up. Just remains in the field of play there. It's interesting to hear you say that about Maverick Gaia, though. I mean, obviously, with the Penrith system, they turn fringe first graders into stars, so he's in the right place. My memory was that he had offers to go down to the Storm, so I thought he was pretty highly rated coming through. Tiger, you're not going to bait me with I could care less. I saw you earlier before the stream started. I saw you coming, my friend. So obviously, as we see, the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs kick the ball from their own end. God, they look like the Bulldogs. That's... I mean, maybe it's the kind of thing where, like, in the design studio, it doesn't look so much like it, but then in the game, when you see the jersey from behind, there's so little green and yellow. Danny says, make a Tassie team and call them the Tasmanian Devils. Isn't that... I think there's an AFL team that they're introducing called the Tasmanian Devils. The problem is, we've done nothing in Tasmania. There's no rugby league in Tasmania. So to just put a team there and expect them to be good without having done any grassroots stuff. Is that a ball roll? Yes. I believe it... Oh no, well, he just lost the ball. This guy, Asu Kapoa, is probably someone that has a lot to prove in these trials. I mean, he's a versatile player, can play center, back rower, and even maybe wing at a pinch. I think he has in his career. But he's now getting on in years, and obviously at the Penrith system, It's a tough squad to crack. It's a very tough squad to crack. Lancaster says, this is how great Penrith are. It's insane. The first game of the season, and you can see how finely tuned their territory game is. The territory game, 100%. And a lot of it goes down to Brad Schneider. As I mentioned at the start, it'll be interesting to see him as a game-managing half. Good run there by Chevy Stewart. He is straight through the line, looking for support. Hauled in, yes, he was tackled. Raiders, so this is their first attacking opportunity of the game after showing such good defense. Will they be able to crack the line at first time of asking? Close to the line now, Atamariota. Now Matty Nicholson gets over the line, will be held up. Promising signs though, got over the line pretty easily there, the young Englishman, 21 years of age from my memory. I'm not sure exactly what club he's come from. I'm going to have a little look at that. What Super League club? I think it might have been Warrington. Yes, it was the Warrington Wolves. Sam Burgess coach Warrington Wolves. So now, I don't think it was Owen Paddy. Ethan Sanders goes himself, gets an offload away. Simi Sasangi grabbing his forehead. There we go, the Raiders. So they do get it on the first time of asking. After so much defensive pressure, and they managed to crack the Panthers line. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say earlier when Lancaster was talking about the Panthers territory game, to see how finely tuned the Raiders defense is, to me, is a very impressive thing. So for them to have done that, absorbed all of that, all those tackles in their own half, and Ethan Sanders running the ball himself, getting the offload. He's not a big guy, he's tall enough, but he's skinny. Gets through that line, gets an offload to Simi Sasangi, the former Newcastle Knight. Good stuff from the Canberra Raiders, that's exciting. Great try, says Caleb. I agree completely. Lancaster mentioned earlier, with Mavi copped a few injuries that slowed his ride to first grade. I remember that Storm very much like to buy average or fringe forwards, mostly on the cheap. That's true. And turn them into freaks because their cap is in their spine. That is true. That is very true. Danny says, how's Papali'i doing? I don't know if he's on the field. I'm at the airport right now. I haven't particularly noticed him much, which is a bit of a surprise, I guess. Not that I've really been looking out for him, though. Brungy, I'm not sure, but did anyone think from the front of the ball looked a bit forward? It was certainly a flat one, but I don't mind it. I think that was pretty fine. So Ethan Sanders will be the man to take the kick. Obviously, Jamal Fogarty is pretty rusted on to be their 7 next year, as Sanders does slot the ball between the posts. Yeah, Fogarty will be their 7 next year for sure, but this Ethan Sanders, having played Junior Origin, he is a highly rated young guy. And I've heard the Rugby League Guru say he's a lot more of a 7 than a 6. Some people do have him playing 6 this year and Ethan Strange shifting to the centers, but to me, I think Ethan Strange at this stage of his career is the best 5/8 option at that club. Such like a young Jack Whiten, Ethan Strange. Lancaster says, Eels must cry watching this game. There would be future 7 is playing, and there would be future 1 will be playing if not for an injury. That is a good point. Ethan Sanders, having been signed from Parramatta, and Isaiah Iongi, no, not Iongi, Blaise Talangi, going the other way to the Panthers. They have struggled a bit with that retention, that is for sure. Even though Gutherson left the club, still couldn't keep Talangi. Brunchy thinks Penrith are going to score 32 unanswered points. I've got to say, that's bold, because it does not look like that's the way this game is going to play out at the moment. Good hit there from Owen Paddy. It had the distance for the 40-20. Couldn't quite get there though, but I am excited about this young guy. I'm very excited. I mean, I don't want to heap too much pressure on him, but it's looks like he's going to be the solution for Canberra at hooker to the problem that they've had ever since Josh Hodgson left the club. Brunchy says, how's your day been? It's been okay. Got a lot of packing still to do though. So I've probably had better days, but yeah, tomorrow driving down to Canberra, moving lots of stuff. Lancaster says send Cleary in for a warm-up and I can see them rack up 30 points. But this will be low score as it is at the moment. Yeah, I wouldn't mind another low score. As I said yesterday, I like the low scoring games. As a bit of a rugby league purist. But yeah, obviously send Cleary, the greatest player in the world, against these guys. No surprise that a lot of points would be scored. A lot of points. So Maverick Guy are in there for the tackle. I want to try and keep an eye on Papali'i. There he is. Okay. Nearly missed a tackle there. Does get the legs, though, in the end. Tracks laterally. Doesn't need massively to be part of that tackle there. So, getting involved enough defensively. Just haven't seen him do much in attack so far. But I am notoriously bad at keeping an eye on individual players. It's a skill I'm sort of learning. I more just look at the team overall. Danny says, Owen Paddy had me excited the moment they turned down the New South Wales hooker for Owen Paddy. Yeah, no, that's a good point. They did turn down Reece Robson. Ended up at the Sydney Roosters, obviously, but yeah, they like Owen Paddy down there. Tiger, I had rissoles and potatoes. It was outstanding. But at the moment, it's the Canberra Raiders having the Penrith Panthers for lunch. That just a little bit of that field position battle we were talking about earlier. Despite not having the kicking game as much as the Panthers do with Brad Schneider, the Raiders are just wrestling back that field position a bit. We'll see Penrith kicking nearly from in their own half. On this play here, Jack Cole. Lancaster says there's something morally corrupt about scorelines above a combined 55 points happening so often these days. It's the six again footy, obviously, and that's the way that Volandis and the higher ups at the NRL have decided the game should be tracking. That's a more entertaining product. And to a new viewer, I would tend to agree that's a more entertaining product. But to the purists like us and probably everyone that's here, we like the lower scoring things. Penalty drawn there by the Canberra Raiders. This, I believe, number 19 was the one who gave that away. Pretty much throughout these streams, I just kind of, like, I see a guy and I'm like, oh yeah, who's that? Go to the team list on NRL.com. Nico Apelu? I don't know if I got the right number even. Jerome Luai's in the chat. Nice stuff. Change the profile picture to the Tigers one. Good stuff. Hope you're enjoying preseason, brother. Owen Paddy now. Oh, that's a wayward pass. Will it go over the sideline? Not quite. Oh, but Asamoah will, having caught it. Now there's a little... They're getting into it with Jesse McLean, Casey's older brother. Brown tonight, says NRL head. Yeah, I spoke about this a bit yesterday. I just can't really visualize it happening. Like, literally, like, it would be a great signing for them if it did. I just struggle to see him in a Knights jersey. I don't know why. Even though he looks a bit like Anari Tuala, and Tuala played for the Knights. I don't know. Brungy said, underrated opinion, don't get me wrong. I like Cook, but I think Little should be the starting 9 as we play really well last season, and if I were him, I would be expecting that. Yeah, Little was really good last year. He was very, very solid, but I think Cook is still one of the premier veterans of the game. His output last year wasn't outstanding, but he's still, in terms of leadership, which is something that the Dragons are lacking a little bit with Ben Hunt gone. I'd have Cook out there, and then probably, I've seen people say move him to 13 when Little comes on. I don't mind that. Tiger, I have not seen those shorts. I have a watch of them after the stream. Panthers now over the halfway line. Laurie picking it up at dummy half, running himself. Now over the 40 into the tackle of Simi Sasungi. And a bit of a roll on here for the Penrith Panthers. Schneider gives the ball across. So now on the last, Phillips is playing the ball. Laurie Kicks it into the corner. Jeez. Oh, Stewart's knocked the ball on. I thought Penrith were going to gather up the ball there and potentially score. Cleaned up by the Raiders, but Jesse McLean, good shot there on Chevy Stewart, and Penrith will have a golden opportunity here to level up the points. Lancaster says, there's no world where Little starts over co-captain, former New South Wales hooker, Damien Cook. Agreed. I found a super obscure fact. Damien Cook is actually a beach sprinter. That I didn't know. That's incredible. Look at the kind of things you learn on the Leaguie streams. That's amazing. I bet no one knows that. But yeah, Tiger, I'll watch those shorts afterwards. Jack Cole running up towards the line there is tackled. A guy who is showing off his running game so far. Who's this guy in at hooker for Penrith, number 22? He's looked lively. Billy Scott. So 2 tackles gone after the set restart. Schneider gives it across to Cole. Digs underneath for Asu Kapoa, I believe it is. They're getting a bit of a roll on. Looking lively, asking questions. Schneider across for Laurie. Oh, here we go. They've got the overlap. And it's the number 20 for the Panthers. Does eventually get over. I tell you what, I feel a little bit sorry for the Raiders there because they had the men there. They made the tackles. The scramble defense was good. But David Farley it is, number 20. I'll update that home scoreboard. 4 points to 6 now. Kick to come. It's not from a great conversion position, so no guarantee that scores will be level here, but good little set play. Raiders were a little condensed there in defense, but they had 3 players there who had a go at David Farley, and none of them could definitively make that tackle. So we see on this replay, Schneider, yeah, got the ball and immediately looked to pass to Laurie. Their lead run from Maverick Geyer, I think it is. And David Farley, I tell you what, he had the winger outside him. Took a bit of a gamble that he was going to beat all those tackles, but did get through. So this is me, Cobra, and Ash are the randos to make vids on the Leaguie. I can't believe that anyone makes videos about me. That is insane. So I think I've like said when the videos have been released, like, thank you so much. Lancaster says, another relatively unknown fact, Cleary's chin is somewhat larger than average. Is it? And Jets is smaller than the big brother, but still of a size that Thor would think is a giant and a whack him. I have a good way of phrasing things. You have a way with words, Lancaster. So kick out here from Jack Cole. Not a great angle. Starts it out to the right. Bends it back. No, but a bit too late. So it will remain 4-6. NRL head, will Jet Cleary live up to the Cleary name? It is absolutely way too early to make a call on that. But I wouldn't be thinking that he will. I mean, living up to the Cleary name, living up to Nathan Cleary, like that's nothing short of becoming the best player in the world and potentially the best player we've seen. So I don't think that's a fair expectation to level at him. As I said yesterday, I mean, he obviously is going to get more attention because he's got the Cleary name, but I wouldn't treat him differently to anyone else. He is still fundamentally like any other player. He did not get the kick, AJ. Remains 6 points to 4. And I agree, Pete. Hopefully, message retracted there, but hopefully he does pick New Zealand over New South Wales. The more high potential players, which I'm assuming he is a high potential player, that pick the Kiwis, pick to represent pretty much anyone other than Australia, the better. Brungy says, I'd take Appy or Robson before Cook, just because he's a South player, right? Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Appy was a South player earlier, so... So 45-metre gain there from Penrith. Not a bad set post a try. 1:52 seconds left to go in this first half. Albert Hopewadi getting the... No, it's not Hopewadi. I keep thinking that guy is Albert Hopewadi. They're number 2, the Canberra Raiders. Michael Asomua. He looks a bit like Hapawadi from a distance. NRL Head says, Leaguie, what do you think about the Vegas expansion? I think I mentioned yesterday, I'm going to release a video about Vegas. As offload there from the Raiders, they weren't really looking. Yeah, I'm going to release a Vegas video in the week leading up to that fixture. Bit of an overlap here for the Raiders after some ad-lib footy. And they make a decent little amount of ground there, but in the end they can't break the line. Across now to Adam Cook, who just shovels the ball on. Good offload there. The Raiders really doing well with their offload game now. With a bit of momentum, Sanders puts the kick up. Friendly bounce there for Dane Laurie, and this will probably see out the half this set. Tiger says, I liked Ash got a shout out, even if it was from a creator half my size. You take a shout out any day of the week. Yeah, Ash did shout out you. That was good stuff to see. I'm not worried about the Tigers co-captain situation, by the way, NRL Head. I mean, those two guys, the Y and Appy, they are going to be the leaders no matter who you rule to be the captain. Nice little attacking set play there from Penrith, but it is wrapped up by the Raiders. Ball does get to ground. We'll see what the Raiders do with 21 seconds left to go. Decent run from Nicholson. Could kick a field goal. Yeah, says Lancaster. Me and you, we're field goal fans. Got 3 points up. They get a 6 again. Won't mean anything. Mariota just running up towards the middle. Are they positioning for it? Not really. 1 second left, and it's a knock on from Owen Paddy. Got a bit excited there. Won't get a 3-point lead at halftime. So decent first half after a comedy of errors to start the game. Both sides did settle into it, and we got to see some awesome defense from the Raiders, I think, throughout that whole first half. Penrith attacking not badly by any means, but just couldn't get through that line. And I think a try each is a decent reflection of the way that first half went. As they're promoting the UFC a bit here. I'm curious as to why. I mean, this guy, he must be Australian. We'll find out in a moment. Why on earth is he at an NRL trial? Yeah, okay, he is. NRL says Burton and Reid were co-captains. And guess what happened? Doggies didn't make the 8. Yeah, I mean, different guys though. Appy and Luai are premiership winners who have played together for a very long time. They know each other inside out. They'll be a lot more probably in unison than Burton and Reid were. And Reid, I mean, he was new to the club. I know Luai is, but Luai is a lot more proven as a leader of a team. Reid Marnie wasn't particularly a leader at Para so much. So the crowd there, it's actually a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. I'll admit. I thought there'd be like no one. Absolutely no one there. But there is. For some reason at Shark Park, and they always do this, they put the fans on the same side as the camera. I guess there's not a huge grandstand on the other side, but surely line up the fans on the other side so that we get to see, we get the sense that there's a good crowd there. How is Luai a leader? Luai is absolutely a leader. He's never been the captain, but in terms of the energy he provides, they used to call him at Penrith the CEO, the Chief Energy Officer. He's well and truly a leader. If you're on the field with him and you see him getting up and about, you go with him. And he's a different kind of leader to a guy like James Fisher-Harris or Isaiah Yeo, but he's well and truly a leader. GR Pete says a Yank YouTuber called The Touchback did a video essay on Vegas, and the comments were filled with AFL and Union trolls. Like, guys, stick to your sport. I love The Touchback. He was like, in the super early days of the Leaguie, he was the biggest content creator who watched my stuff. And we had a number of really good chats. I haven't seen him in my comment section lately so much, but then again, it's been a while since I watched one of his videos. But he's really good, and to be making videos about the NRL as an American, his passion for the sport is very, very good. So I will give that a watch because I'm curious as to sort of the American perspective on it. Brungy says, do you think Luai will get the credit he deserves now that he's out of Cleary's shadow? Because most people make the case that Luai only did good because he was in the Panthers squad. People love or hate Luai. I think there's very little space to be in between. I absolutely love him. So there's a decent proportion of people who do give him the credit he deserves at the moment. But yeah, I would. It is tough, right? Because I think people want to hate Luai. So if the Tigers don't make the 8, which there are a chance, but they probably won't make the 8. I think a lot of those people that want to hate him will be using that as justification. Like, look, he can't even make the finals without Cleary. He's nothing without Cleary. So really, I don't think he will get the credit he deserves. I think the people that don't give him credit will continue to find reasons not to give him credit. If you don't give Luai credit as a Premier 5/8 after making 5 grand finals in a row, taking Samoa to a World Cup grand final, their first ever, and winning 4 premierships in a row, winning Origins, like, you're never gonna give him credit, are you? It's not like those people will sit back and think, oh yeah, if he can do well with the Tigers, that's what'll do it for us. I saw the NFL was coming to Australia. Yeah, they've done a deal with the Victorian government. I was disappointed to see that it wasn't to Sydney. I would have thought, I mean, yeah, Melbourne is maybe a bigger sporting market, but I would have thought with the similarities to rugby league and the fact that they come from the same origin, American football comes from a rugby origin. I would have thought that ANZ State or Accor Stadium, would be the optimal venue for them to do that, but it's down at the MCG. I'd love to go. I like the NFL, and I'm sure it will be a really, really big event. I don't know if I'd go all the way down to Melbourne just for that, though. Teo asks, would you ever make a basics rugby league video for people outside of Oz? I've actually thought a lot about doing that, like a rugby league 101 style video. The only issue is, like, for you guys, right, for my normal viewers, it probably wouldn't have much value. But one of my main missions when I started this channel was to be a positive influence on the sport and try and grow the sport. Become a big YouTuber and grow the sport. So fundamentally, if I'm trying to attract people to the sport of rugby league, new fans, they could benefit from a video like that. It would be useful for me to be able to say, hey, watch this video if you're new, and then you can start getting into to all the other stuff. But yeah, so to answer your question, definitely. Tiger Walker, I agree. Luai haters are the most brain dead people in the world. But yeah, a good point. MCG is the biggest ground in Oz, and they'll sell it out for sure. But still, Olympic Park holds 82,000 people. I guess, look, maybe if you are going to sell it out either way, doesn't really matter that it's in Melbourne rather than Sydney. I'm assuming they'll sell it out. I mean, it's 100,000 people, the MCG. Maybe not, but it will be a huge event. And I think they've signed up to do it across multiple years, to my memory. I know they've done NFL in London before at London Stadium where West Ham United play. I am still wearing the headgear. I was in two minds, but I think I'm happy to keep it on. It'll just be this stream, just this stream. But yeah, I like an idea of the basics of rugby league video. GR Pete says, I suggested the touchback to do a video essay on the NRL conference and to give his pros and cons on it. I'm hopeful you do the same, but it's entirely up to you. Yeah, a conference style video. It's funny. All off season, I intended to make one about my thoughts on that. I just never got around to it because it is kind of like peak off season content. But I think it could definitely be done. I think it's almost inevitable if we get to 20 teams with the push to reduce the number of fixtures. I think it could almost be necessary that we do it in conferences. But the one thing that I do disagree with the way a lot of people say to do it is, like, they say have a Sydney conference and have an everyone else conference. That is an absurd idea. Absolutely ridiculous. The teams that are in the outside of Sydney conference would just be exhausted. So much more jet lag, so much more fatigue by the end of the season. To think that those teams will have to travel to Townsville, Melbourne, and New Zealand over here. Camera's flip. New Zealand's like there. They'll have to be flying between those places, and the furthest distance, in the Sydney conference would be Cronulla to Penrith. Like, come on. So I once, just out of my own interest, wrote down how you could do it. You'd have to split Sydney in half, essentially, and have the rivalries on either side. I think one side you could have, like, Roosters, Rabbitohs, Dogs, Dragons, Cronulla, and then the other side you've got Para, Tigers, Manly and Penrith. I think probably because you got like the Penrith Manly rivalry, Penrith Tigers, Penrith Eels, Eels Tigers. But then on the other side, you get to keep Roosters South, you get to keep Dragons, Sharks, you get to keep Anzac Day. So that's how I would go about doing it if I were to do it. Alex Neil has said a bit there. Let me have a little read of it. I don't know about others, but I've watched heaps of footy, cricket, etc. explained for Americans, Europeans, knowing every single thing they said in the video. There's just something about watching how it gets communicated to others. Oh, no, okay, I'll add that to my list then of video ideas, because that's the kind of thing I would love to do. And have it like, you know, as the video that shows up on the homepage of my YouTube channel. I think that'd be a good thing to do. Danny, talking about Luai, he says, you're looking for reasons to hate. When Cleary was out, he led the Panthers, and there would have been mid without Luai when Cleary was injured. Single-handedly won New South Wales Game 3. He's very capable of being a leader. 100% agree for sure. Tiger on the head, you're saying it's getting less cursed the more the stream goes on. It just basically blends into the microphone. But yeah, I love the fact that I was able to find green headgear. MD8, hello again, Leaguie. I was late for most of the first half, but I'm back. All good. Good to see you here, my friend. NRL head. Wait, I kind of want to know, what is your gripe with the Sharks? Because you've been saying that no one goes to Shark Park, which I have to disagree with. I mean, they've got the lowest crowds in the league, but they do sell out that ground. The reason why their crowds are so low is because the ground is so small. But they definitely sell it out. Maybe you just want the Dragons and Bulldogs to absorb that area. I don't mind a team in Adelaide, though. The only thing when people bring up Adelaide, I wouldn't mind it as a 20th team, but I remember the Storm, I think it was the Storm and the Roosters, took some regular season games there in 2017-ish. And I was always disappointed by the crowds. I always had sort of high expectations. And not many people showed up. So, you know, it's been nearly 10 years since then, so maybe the appetite has changed, but I don't know how many people would show up week in, week out. Astronomy, good to see you back from yesterday, I remember. Ozzy says, the only reason I dislike Luai is how he makes himself out to be a complete a-hole on the field, and every time you see him on videos being chill, a stand-up dude. And he decides to stand over Selwyn Cobbo when he was knocked out despite not doing anything. Like, if you're going to act tough, at least do it yourself. In defense of him in that Cobbo moment, he did not know Cobbo was knocked out. I think he said that post-game. But also, yeah, I mean, I can understand why you would dislike him for that reason. Potentially, it's a bit ingenuine on the field. But then again, he's far from the first player to be a different person on-field to off-field. And it goes two ways. Look at a guy like Jared Warrior-Hargreaves, who we were talking yesterday as one of the grubbiest players in NRL history. Off-field, everyone says he's the gentle giant, he's the nicest guy. And that's a positive thing. We would see that as a positive thing. So, I don't mind a player, you know, being whoever he needs to be on the field, but in wider society, it's very inappropriate to act like a rugby league player. You know, that we do absolutely feral things on the field. So for them to be different off field, yeah, I don't take so much of an issue with that. But I do see where you're coming from. Ozzy says as well, I've heard Shark Park is hell. I've been there. It's not great. But no, it definitely sells out. 100% NRL. It well and truly sells out that ground. MD8 says, do I support the Raiders? I mean, I can understand why you'd think that given what I'm wearing. But no, that's a secret. Can't reveal who I support. I do support a team with an S in their name. It's true. Yeah, NRL says Origin was played in South Australia. It was a pretty big crowd. That is true, but it's also Origin. You know, there's a lot of people that will be traveling from New South Wales and Queensland for that. And yeah, there's a lot of locals who might go to an Origin game, but might not go to an Adelaide Rams game. So you do have to take it with a pinch of salt a little bit there. So second half about to get underway. And I think just generally, these teams were a bit more impressive than the two sides we saw last night. Thanks for the compliment there, Astronomy. As for who I'm going for, look, I'm a neutral pretty much all the time, but I do live in Canberra. The Penrith Panthers obviously win all the time. I think I'd be lying if I said I didn't want the Raiders to maybe get one over here. Lancaster says, I despise JWH for all the harm he's done, regardless of how he acts off field. But as for Luai, better a dick on field and awesome bloke off field than the other way around. I agree completely on Luai there. And yeah, I get the Jared hate as well. Jared was genuine though. He was who he was on field. So they mention the 3 Martins on field for Canberra. I thought they were all siblings, but apparently not. Okay, I thought they all looked pretty similar to one another, but no, okay, Miles Martin isn't. Ty says, Leaguie not a Panthers fan confirmed. Could be mind games. You can't rule out the mind games. Look at that mullet. That is incredible. Set restart there for the Raiders. So they're approaching the 30-meter line now. They'll get a decent opportunity here for attack. I mean, we really didn't see them get much attacking opportunity in that first half. They were... There we go. 1 tackle in opposition 20. They were efficient. But that pass does go wayward. You guys might have noticed the screen blacking out a little bit there. There is an ant. There's an ant crawling over the camera. It's tiny though. So I want to just let it be, but that's very funny. Because I could see out the corner of my eye like little bits of black, and I was like, what is that? No, it's an ant. The beauty of live streaming. So Panthers on the 4th tackle, just over the halfway line there. We'll probably be kicking from just over their half. Good pressure there from one of the Martins. And Chevy Stewart does take it convincingly. Looks for a little bit of space out there to the right. Doesn't find it. Brungy says, are you expecting... Oh, as we see, I think an error. Roll ball. Oh, from Chevy again. Wasn't it Chevy last time? That was my memory. And right at their own end. Golden chance here. I was answering, though, what Brungy said. Are you expecting Brisbane Broncos to bounce back after their terrible last season? Yes, but not at first. I think it will take them a bit of time to adjust to Michael Maguire. Do I have a water bottle with my name on it? No, I have a water bottle, but not with my name on it. Do you have one with your name on it? Tiger Walker, I don't want to guess your name. To me, you're just Tiger. So, Penrith on the attack. Golden opportunity here to take the lead of this game, which they haven't had so far. Asu Kepaoa running back in field. He's playing centre, but really, he's basically taking hit-ups through the middle. Pass out there to McLean of the Jesse variety. 4th tackle, Schneider. So one more here. Schneider getting in position. Does get the ball. Goes short. Oh, big hit there. Isaiah Papali'i. He hasn't really... Like, I mean, okay, it's a trial match. It's the first trial match. But he hasn't shone through as like a really good first grader. Barely caught that ball and got absolutely whacked. That was not his finest moment, have to be said. MD8 says, just makes me glad I picked rugby league as a sport, but media wanting clicks is one of the downsides to our game. That's one of the main things I'm sort of combating and standing for. This offseason I sort of thought about it, and there's like 3 sort of main values I think I've stood for. In terms of being critical of the media, being pro-referees, and being pro-international game. But that media one, yeah, it's a big one. Probably means I'm never going to get a job in the rugby league media, because I just criticize them all the time, but hey-ho. Oh well. Ball comes out there, but we're going to get a penalty for the Canberra Raiders. Pasami Solo it is. Just slightly beyond horizontal. A little bit tough. Because he did have a knee on the ground. But penalty does get drawn. NRL Head has fact-checked me here. That I am very surprised. Under one game was sold out and one was 11. So sorry, one game was sold out. One game was sold out. That really surprises me. I thought I heard so much last year. Sellout crowd. They do, and probably the reason why I think that the NRL have a funny definition of a sellout. For them, like 90% capacity is sellout, which I disagree. But anyway, that's probably what it was. Raiders on the attack here. Their first real attacking opportunity of the half. They get over the line. Owen Patty. He's claiming it. We're going to go upstairs with a no try, and it's going to be hard to see, but he's certainly claiming it. Let's have a look here. He's been dynamic so far, Owen Patty. I would think this is one of the ones that's just going to be hard to overturn. Well, we see the ball. Oh, that's well and truly a try. Owen Patty, I'm sorry, I was not familiar with your game. Absolutely got to the line. I'm happy to put this on the scoreboard. I haven't seen it show up yet, but it is 10-6. Owen Patty, remember the name. They rejected Reece Robson in order to keep Owen Patty. Just having a little look through some of the messages. Lancaster giving his full legal name. That is outstanding. It makes me want to call you His Majesty from now on. Danny says, I pray on Papali'i's downfall ever since he left. Well, it's not been the greatest game for him so far. MD8 says, now we need you, the Leaguie, on NRL 360. Surely, I mean, as you said, how many tree-related jokes can Gordon Tallis come up with? Good callback to my my 2024... what did I call it? Rugby League Rewind. Good to see you been watching that video. That's my favorite video I've ever made. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be on a platform like that for sure. Leaguie should absolutely replace Tallis. I think you'd give Tallis a run for his money, Lancaster. Adam Cook puts the ball between the posts, and now that's quite the lead. We've got that crucial 8-point lead for the Canberra Raiders, which is notoriously difficult to overcome. It's just slightly out of reach. It's just 2 scores. So good play there from Owen Patty. Just identified there was a bit of a gap there behind the ruck and darted. Towards the end of that first half, it was the last play. We saw him knock on a dummy half, and he was just getting a little bit ahead of himself, getting a bit excited. That's sort of the kind of play he was looking to make, this dart in behind the ruck. NRL Head says they should upgrade the grounds and make each team their home ground. Yeah, basically say each team should have their home ground. Don't want to watch at Acor because everyone plays there, and there should only be Origin or finals at Acor. In theory, yes. The thing is, though, when you have a big stadium like that, as the Raiders do get away, question of a forward pass, Jed Stewart or offload back in field, Owen Patty hands on the ball, will just take the tackle. Yeah, to justify a big stadium like Acor, you do need to be playing games there kind of regularly. So the New South Wales government definitely want the NRL playing regular season games there. But yeah, ideally, you'd want to see a stadium like Belmore Oval redeveloped and the Bulldogs play there. You'd want to see, I know there's not a lot of space out at Redfern, but maybe Rabbitohs at Allianz Stadium. Shark Park definitely needs redevelopment though. Yes, the rewind. Good to see a bit of love for the rewind. I love that. Didn't perform so well. Lots of other videos did better, but I like the rewind. Canberra kicking in behind. Everyone's missed it. It's a try. Is that Owen Patty again? Chasing through the support play from Owen Patty. That was an absolute comedy of errors. I've used that phrase once already, but it's a lot more appropriate here. Everyone just flew past the ball. No one wanted it. And Owen Patty, with all the time in the world, chased through. He has announced himself on the rugby league, on the NRL stage here tonight. Look at this. I want to count how many players missed the ball. There's a Penrith player there, other Penrith player, Raiders player. I reckon even Manny Nicholson, number 12. But it's Owen Patty just following through from behind, picking up the pieces. Benny Hill theme moment, yes. I agree, Lancaster. I'd play it, but I think I'd get copyright striked. Just no one wanted the ball. That is hilarious. After Tamade Martin knocked the ball back when he could have just fallen over the try line there yesterday. I think that one might be even worse. And yeah, sorry, Lancaster, I compared you to Tallis. I mean, I was saying you're better than Tallis, but you know that. You know that. Panther says, no space in Belmore for redevelopment. Better off in Liverpool at the land the club owns. I've never been to Belmore, so I didn't know that, to be fair. But I know that there's the train tracks to one side. Obviously, you can't develop there. Don't mind them at Liverpool, I suppose. So Sanders will be the man to kick. After Adam Cook took the last one, I wonder why. Oh, but he shanks it out to the right. So the gap now back to 12 points. Well, it remains 12 points. 2 converted tries. Half an hour to go. I don't know what the odds were before this game. I know Warriors were favourites yesterday. But I am curious because it's been impressive for the Raiders. Just at the period of the game that Panthers were dominating, they just absorbed it. MD8 says, we did it, boys. The Panthers are losing. I'm unironically not getting my hopes up because there's still 30 minutes. That's a fair point. There is still 30 minutes to go. But I don't know. I reckon Canberra are good here. I'm doing a little interview with Fogarty. Brungy's saying, I like Leaguie as a player. But it's just when he does try-scoring celebrations that rubs me the wrong way because it seems like he's flexing, showing off. He is flexing, showing off. The thing is, with a guy like him, he can back it up. He talks a huge game. Huge game. And yes, he's very in your face. He's very kind of provocative. But he's won the last 4 premierships. You know, if you can back it up like that, I say power to him, personally. Is that the comment you guys meant? I mean, that's the most recent one I can see from him. I definitely don't mean to, like, you know, not read comments. It's just there's so many of them, and I'm obviously focusing on the game as well. Have we got a little break and play here? They're just showing Jamal Fogarty. I like Fogarty. I've met him a number of times, but oh, here we go. Okay, back to the actual play. And yeah, I agree, Lancaster. Unless you're getting blown out, there's nothing wrong with flexing after your team scores a try. Especially, as I say, when you're a guy like him. How many tries am I going to score? I wouldn't get my hopes up. I'll see what comes to me, but I'm just going to be running it hard. Here we go. There's the follow-up from Brungy. I know he can back it up, but still, no one likes a showboat. They prefer people that are humble. That's just my opinion. Yeah, and look, you're entitled to your opinion, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that like the characters of our game. I personally love the fact that the West are outspoken. So, if he was humble and just like, he is a humble guy off the field, but if on the field he didn't do all those things, we wouldn't really notice him so much. And I think that's a good thing that he stands out. It's an asset to our game, I believe. Danny says, thoughts on Tigers recruitment and Bird playing lock. Has he been confirmed to be playing lock? That's a good option, I think, for them. But I do like Fanua Bole at lock. It'll be a different style if they are to do that. But the Tigers recruitment's fantastic. Luai coming in, Taruva coming in. Terrell May, obviously, a very, very big one for them. Am I forgetting anyone? Skelton, Bird. I think I described it earlier as probably the best recruitment drive I've ever seen from a wooden spooner, personally. Tiger says League would do a Tonga and score and get disallowed. They wouldn't disallow me. Surely they couldn't. Oh, there we go. He's been training lock whole preseason. That's exciting from a fantasy perspective. Lancaster, he's top and he knows it. He's not afraid to show his pride in himself, his accomplishment, his teammates, and their accomplishments. If he was arrogant off field, I'd agree, but he's not so chill. Couldn't have said it better, personally. So Panthers now with a set on the attacking line. It is the second tackle. third now, is I think there were at least 2 Martins in that tackle. That's a safe bet that there's going to be a number of Martins in every tackle for the Raiders. Schneider back on the inside. Now on the 4th, 1 tackle to go for the Panthers. It's not a stage where they're desperate for points yet. Kick through, but I think that's wrapped up cleanly by, I believe it's Chevy Stewart. It is. Oh, and he's got a cramp. Don't stop the game for cramp. Get someone else to play it. Brungy, on the note of showboating, says, for example, I don't like how Reece Walsh walks into the locker room with AirPods and the swagger he has because he hasn't done anything to earn the right to do that. Yeah, I mean, the key difference, as you say, he hasn't achieved what Luai's achieved. But yeah, I don't know. I still think, I don't think you can make a case that Reece Walsh and the image that he portrays has been bad for rugby league. It's been very good for rugby league. It's brought in a lot of, let's say, audiences that might not otherwise be there. As the Raiders do get through the line here. Was it Simi Sasangi? I can't see the numbers of the Raiders players. Imagine if Liam was playing. Yeah, 2 Martins is a good number of Martins. You could have Tomato Martin as well. We've got a number of Martins. Martin Kennedy, bring him back. NRL head, I would never insinuate that about the girls. No, he's brought in an audience. Good legs tackle there. Fanua got his legs cut out underneath him. And now it's Kepaoa working it out of his own end. Being forced back, gets an offload. Oh, surely a dropout will be forced here. Panthers passing it in their own in goal. But ruled that they've touched the line. Not great from Asu Kepaoa. MDB says it's Isaiah Yeo making Cleary the man he is. Isaiah doesn't get the credit he deserves doing all the donkey work and whatnot. Yo definitely plays a huge role, but I wouldn't go as far as to say it's him who makes Cleary the man he is. Cleary still creates a lot for himself. Like, that's a good point. The screams when Walsh picks up the ball are audibly feminine. I think there'd be a few blokes in there with feminine screams when Walsh does that. If Raiders score here, I know there's 25 minutes to go, but it would be a long, long way back for Penrith, and they are looking likely. That was commentator's curse. If the ball was caught there by, I think it was Jordan Martin, would have been very hard to stop, but commentator's curse for me there for sure. Paddy across, just ball bounces off him. So Danny Given is Tigers team there. The backline is what I'm focusing on. Olam and Stafford Toa in the centers. That's probably the way I would go. Notice there's no Adam Dewey, or Duehi, as it is actually pronounced, in that side. But it is hard to find a spot for him in that team. Brungy says the Panthers seem to be struggling in defence, but this is probably due to the fact New South Wales Cup side and it's lacking experience. We do praise the Panthers for their systems. I wouldn't say the defence is like struggling. It's certainly not up to the Penrith standard. But yeah, I would probably have still expected more. So Penrith do cross the halfway line. Now Schneider feigned to pass, ran himself on the last way out to the side. He hasn't done Trent to allow a big favour there. Good take there from the, is that number 14 for the Raiders? Ethan Alaya. Caleb says, I can hear the rain behind you, I think, the Leaguie. I think I can hear it as well. Either that, or it's someone else in this house is currently using the tap, because anyone turns on the water in this house and the whole thing shakes. And yeah, Tiger, I've seen your video on who the Tiger center should be. I think I commented on it probably. Lancaster said, I laugh thinking about Spud's comments last year about how much he wants to smash him in a tackle. Go read them. I've never heard a man sound so much like he's angry. He wants to pound another bloke and not in the regular rugby league manner. That is very funny. Yeah, I mean, for a guy who says look good, feel good, smell good, I don't know if he really has much of a platform to stand on in criticizing. I'm assuming Walsh. I've just seen Lancaster's comment describing Cleary's performance in the 2023 Grand Final as when Cleary went ultra chinstinct. I'm gonna rob that from you. I'm taking that. I'm using that phrase. Ultra chinstinct is outstanding. Danny says Bolle comes off a bird, and I'd normally prefer to silver at 14, but Latu can cover more. That is true, and reportedly has been good since confronting the board. Yeah, he is a bit more versatile, and I like the silver, but I wanted to find a way to put Bolle in that starting team. I will do some content about the best 17s for each team, so that's something I have to figure out. But yeah, if Bird is at lock, I think he has to come off the bench for Noah Bolle. Chinstinct, that's awesome. I honestly just looked at the screen and thought Bulldogs. We are nearly 60 minutes into this game. Raiders just crossing the 40. Now one of the Martins into the hands of, not sure. Oh, okay, intercept of Fanua. Okay, well he didn't exactly streak away down the field. There's Sonny Luke in at dummy half, I believe that is. A very tricky player. I like watching... No, it's not Sonny Luke. Where is Sonny Luke? Anyway. Trent Tolau. Big tackle there. It's got to be one of the Martins. No, it wasn't. Clydesdale. Panthers on the 4th. Ducking around the ruck is the number 22, Billy Scott, who we've complimented a fair few times in this game so far. He looks good. Schneider puts the ball up, trying to find the corner. Knocked on, I think, from Penrith. And straight through the line. Alaya, with a little bit of a jink there. Has he got space? And this gets crunched. Crunched near halfway, but very, very good run from Alaya. Ball out wide. Still on the 0. They don't need to do anything too crazy here, but there is space in the middle there. The number 19 running in to find it. Lots of momentum here for the Raiders, although Panthers do have the set defensive line now. Here's Clydesdale. He's a big, big boy. Look at him. We're getting to the point now where I don't know enough of the names. I know Clydesdale, number 23. Short ball across. Oh, we've got a knock on there. I thought it was missed at first. I think Belinda Sharp, the referee, did miss it, but the call came in from the touchy. MD8, if I may quote Leaguie, Josh Adokar playing for the Eels is punishment enough. Josh Adok having to play for the Eels is punishment enough. Yeah, I remember that line in the... Oh, that would have been the rewind. Yeah, it would have been the rewind. Ozzy says, hey, Leaguie, who do you think the New South Wales halfback should be? Cleary. For sure, no doubt about it. I know Moses did what he did. And if Luai's form to start the season isn't great, I'm open to potentially Moses at 6 if Laurie Daly thinks he can make that work. Although he is a ball-dominant half. But it's Cleary, for sure. For sure. Lancaster says, I'd like to take credit, but that was my best mate on the day after. I was like, when did Cleary go Super Saiyan or Super Chin, I guess? And then bro came back with Ultra Chinstinct. That was brilliant. Ultra Chinstinct. The Boone Spole. The Boone Spole. Spoonball. Yeah. The funny thing is, like, that wasn't the first time I'd made that mistake. I called it the Boonspol a number of times before that. And recording that clip, I was like, don't say Boonspol, don't say Boonspol. Boonspol, fuck. Brunji says, Buller's my favourite player from the Tigers besides Appy. But I brought this up because do the Tigers care to trade him for Sloan? Because I'll be happy with that. I really doubt they'll trade him for Sloan. Although I do think Sloan gets a bit overhated. But no, they'll keep hold of Buller for as long as they possibly can. Oh crap, I forgot the Warriors. That was genuine as well. I really did. I got to the Storm and I was like, okay, that's all of them. Oh crap, I forgot the Warriors. That was funny. We've had some good moments in the first year of the league. Still, for one more week, less than a year old, the channel. So it has been a bit of a stagnant period in this game now for a while, with a number of sort of third grade players coming on. Desperate to offload there, surely a knock on, yes, somewhere in there. They might challenge it. He's claiming a strip. Yeah, don't think they will challenge that. But it just, yeah, with a number of players coming on and off the field so far in this game. Sorry, like in the recent little few minutes of this game, it's just stagnated a bit. 16 points to 4. The teams are struggling to get through the sets a little bit more. Tiger says you have to stream Friday next week for the anniversary. Friday might be a tough day to stream. I'll see. I'm not quite sure what games I'll stream next week. Certainly won't be all of them. And yeah, blatant high contact there for sure. Did slip up, but ended up high. And yeah, Caleb, I do remember when you said tomato did, and that was good. Tom short for tomato. Glancast says Moses 7, Luai 6. Cleary either plays an open 9 role, Andrew John style, has to win back a half spot. Is a better player than either, but I am a Moses a better 7. And can only play in the half, so that needs to be accounted for. Cleary at 9 would be the way to probably get all your best players in there. Intercept there, is that Clydesdale? Is that my man? No, I think he was 23. That was number 24. I don't completely mind that idea, right? It's left field, Cleary at 9. The only thing is, and this is where I'm going to land with all the talk with New South Wales, as the ball does get through, it's one of the Martins, catches it, gets through the line. Let's go, Canberra. 20 points to 4. No one saw this one coming. Canberra here to play. I'm looking forward to driving back down to Canberra tomorrow. There's going to be scenes in the capital. What I was just going to say, with New South Wales talk, Laurie Daly being the man entrusted to implement that tactic is where I become concerned. I'll just say that. That was a very good try, though. I feared there might have been a little knock on there from Martin, but it did manage to keep hold of that ball and just accelerated. I doubt that could be the same Jordan Martin that was on the NRL Rookie in 2016. Let me have a little look, because I'm pretty sure he's a young boy. He's 24. Yeah, so surely. But that's not Jordan Martin. That's Noah Martin, who's only 19. Canberra, the new cult hero team of the NRL, absolutely. MD8 says, nah, but if I think about it, my favorite part of the rewind is when I approached Sean Johnson to see if he was scoring tonight, he said, who are you? Get out of my house. I'm calling the police. That was probably my favorite bit as well. I'll just commentate this kick, because it will be 22 to 4. My favorite bit, though, was what I said immediately afterwards. I'm just blowing my own horn here. But I gave that whole thing of that quote of, who are you? Get out of my house. I'm calling the police. And then I go, so not really an answer there. I just delivered it well. Not really an answer there. Just as if there was nothing weird about that quote. Yeah, I really enjoyed making it, but like a lot of people, like I saw yesterday in the chat, say like funny videos more often. It is difficult. I need material to work with from the NRL. I used to do a series called LTW, League This Week, which was a lot more comedic. Wasn't quite a meme review of the week, but it was certainly a bit more lighthearted. But it was really time consuming to make, so I ended up canning that for the time being. Yeah, Aussie's correct. Buller is eligible for Queensland. I think he said, though, he wouldn't want to represent them. I think he said he's a New South Wales man. I don't know if he's even eligible for New South Wales, but I think that's where his personal allegiances lie. Brangie says, I would like Buller. I'm happy with Sloan. He does need to improve, but I can see him being great one in the future. He's still super young. He's a guy who I thought was older. I would have thought at this point in his career, Tyrell Sloan, at least like 23, pushing 24. But he's, what, 22 at the most? Yeah, 22. So, still a heap of footy ahead of him. In 10 years' time, he won't even really be thinking about retirement, even 32, in this day and age. The Canberra Raiders youth showing up. The Penrith Panthers, who obviously do have the best junior catchment in the competition. But it's all been the Raiders. Little duck on the inside there. Nearly got to the line. So last tackle. Owen Paddy no longer on the field, and you can tell that pass was not great. Are they going to get boot to ball, the number 20? No, he's running around, losing ground. This is shaping up to be one of the worst fifth. Oh my god, they just died with the ball. That's got to be one of the worst fifth play options I've ever seen. That was awful. That was terrible. I mean, the worst that can happen on a fifth play is what? You just die with the ball and turn it over, and at least they're coming out of their own end. They lost 30 meters. So nearly inside 11 minutes to go. Missed tackle second half, 18-1. My takeaway from this game is the Raiders' defense. I know they've put on 22 points, but it's the Raiders' defense, I reckon, has been super, super impressive. I did commentate curse them earlier, so we'll see whether now Penrith put on 3 straight tries. So kick up from Penrith, trying to find Casey McLean. Bit of confusion there, and they will get a try. Oh no. I have cursed this. I have absolutely cursed this. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I have cursed this. The fact as well that that try came from 2 Raiders players jumping up and colliding with one another, I claim personal responsibility for that try. After saying how good the Raiders' defense has been. Look at that. Just a lack of communication, and much like Owen Paddy in the first half. The number 25 from the Penrith Panthers. Let me just pull up his name. In future, I'm going to try and have like another screen open that I can look through very, very quickly. Samuel Lane it is. I just don't have like literally enough computers at the moment to do that. Lancaster says, I honestly think Raiders are building a good little team here. Will not be surprised to see them in a GF somewhere between 2028 and 2030. No doubt about it. I've been very, very high on the players that the Raiders have coming through for ages. The fact that, okay, the struggle is keeping them together. But Owen Paddy at 9, Ethan Sanders at 7, Ethan Strange at 6, and Chevy Stewart at 1. I know Stewart maybe didn't have his best game tonight, but that's an elite spine in, 7 years' time. They just have to keep them together. So Trent Tolau looking to put him within 2 converted tries here. You have to think, if they want to win in this game, they have to kick everything. And he does just sneak it in. 22 points to 10. They've got 9 minutes and 18 seconds to get 2 converted tries and force. Are we going to get a draw? Are we going to get a draw like yesterday? Brunchy says, getting ready for next week, Dragons versus Roosters, because we owe them revenge this year from the 120 points scored against us. Go Dragons, Dragons for life. Yeah, that's the same day as the charity match. I was looking at the games that I could potentially go to, because Cogra's not too far away from me, but I'll be at the charity match. And as many of you guys as possible should be at the charity match as well. Kick off there from the Raiders. Go as long as that's Preston. Ricky hit hard. Oh, one of the Raiders is hurt. One of the Raiders is grabbing at his elbow there. Caleb says, the fact that Manly barely got roasted because Jake Trbojevic is the nicest human being in the world, and that cancels out everything. Yeah, I liked the whole thing with like talking about the Pride jersey, and I was like, my personal thoughts on that situation, and then it just glitched. The charity match will kick off at about 3. There's a couple of games on beforehand, so it's hard to see exactly. But the charity match will kick off at about 3. As Panthers playing Harlem Globetrotters style footy, lots of offloads. I mean, I guess they've got to do that, but the number 27, Presta, he's just showing a man in the defensive line now. He can't tackle. Panthers through. Guys, I fully cursed this. I fully cursed this. 22 points to... Jesus, if the Panthers win this game... yes, Lancaster, you can buy tickets at the door. The vast majority of people do. But wow. Danny says Tigers top 5 spine is a hot take. I don't even think that's that hot. A spine with Ampy Coruscant, Lachlan Galvin, and Jerome Luai in it. I think that grounding's okay. It didn't look great. But yeah, it looks okay. Yeah, I don't think it's that outrageous to say that they're that good. Guys, I'm so sorry. Caleb saying that, what have you done? It was a bit of a tough put down because he's rolling back the other way, but no, he definitely got it down okay. Oh, is there... No. Try confirm. Another draw would be kind of funny because it kills either team's chances of winning the preseason challenge. Ozzy says maybe Leaguie made Dolphins lose last year. Yeah, that's definitely why you were losing games. It was because of me. I'm the one who did it. So Trent Tolau, more difficult kick this time. And he only just snuck in the other one last time. So we'll see whether he gets this one from the sideline. Approaching the ball now. Hits it. Looks good. Keeps it in. He looked pretty pleased with himself after that one, and he absolutely should be. 6 minutes, 41 seconds to go. The gap is 6 points. Why does the 16... The 16 looks like it's in a weird spot. There we go. Oh, no, it's still kind of weird. I shouldn't have messed with the graphics midstream. There we go. That's okay. That's a bit better. Lancaster says, exactly as I said, Penrith Town by less than 4 tries with less than 10 minutes ago. Buff activated. Oh, that game, them against Para last year, unbelievable. All the tries that they scored. James Hart, hopefully Roosters for the spoon. That, I'm tell you what, for all the people that say, like, it's just the same teams over and over, the Roosters getting the spoon might do some good things for rugby league. Might do some very good things. I want to see predictions in the chat. I want to see yes or no. Are Panthers going to get the try they need? They've got space out there. Oh, but the ball does go behind. The number 17 from the Raiders can't quite take advantage of that. That's not a huge loss there for Penrith. NRL says, Leaguie, what do you think about the trials? I love them. Knock on there from Panthers. There you go. All you guys saying yes. Now you've jinxed them. Now you've jinxed them. How does it feel? There we go. You've all jinxed them. I'm seeing the yeses roll through. You've all jinxed them. You started it, says Ozzy. That's true. It is commentator's curse, and I guess I am kind of a commentator. Danny says Buller will run onto the field and score a try. Now that's a bold prediction. That's a very bold prediction. Make a poll. I don't know. I have no idea how to do that. Oh, here we go. Engage with your audience. Start a poll. Okay, here we go. I never knew I could do this. Panthers try Question mark. Geez, I thought Raiders might have had a chance there. Nearly did. Okay, there's a poll. Panthers try. Yes, no. I think Danny might have been the only one that said no. Andrew says, nah, buff is already activated. Well, see, clock's ticking down and they're at the wrong end of the field. Brungy, I know I'm going to get hated for this, but the Dragons the best fan base. Controversial. One drawback with our fans is we're quick to hate on young players. Personally, to me, the best fan base, as it is pouring down rain there. Wow, it's pouring. Panthers running it on the last. Best fan base to me is Newcastle, personally. They put a desperate kick up. Wow, it is torrential. I'm surprised they could see the ball. That ball must be like a bar of soap. Lancaster says, but I am saying that if Roosters are trending towards a spoon, Politis will make some brown paper bags appear. A few phone calls will be made. And there'll be some mid-season changes like in 2018. You reckon? If they are trending towards a spoon, Robbo's going to be under some pressure, I reckon. Newcastle, how? The fact that they're such a tortured fan base, their team never does well, but they show up constantly. Their crowds are always so good. Not having won anything since, what, 2001? Was that? Yeah, I think that was the last time they won. Or was it 2000 even? I think definitely Newcastle for me. I've got a knock on that. If there was only... Sorry, if there was more than 3 minutes to go, they might even call this off. That is torrential. MD8 says, surely 2025 is a good year because NRL's anyone's game. Opening in Vegas will be massive. It's true. It is true. And it is anyone's game. Certainly the race for the top 8 is anyone's game. Tigers, yeah, I think they don't show up quite as much. Quite as consistently as Newcastle fans do. So, very good challenge there from the Penrith Panthers. I mean, I don't know the extent to which they sort of knew that had happened or whether they were just throwing in a challenge towards the end of the game, but they're going to get a penalty out of that. They kick it long. Considering the tight angle, they made a decent amount of ground there. If they could find a set restart at some point here, or slip through the line, it's a slippery night so far. I'm feeling 2 draws. I'm feeling back-to-back draws to start the preseason challenge. So Panthers still putting on their plays. Canberra defense does come up, but they do manage to step around it. Now on the third, just over the 30. Threatened the short ball there, did the hooker. Luke Summerton. 2 to go. They're making very good ground and they'll be able to have a shot here. It could be their last attacking chance of the game, unless they do get the ball back. Chevy Stewart. No, not Chevy Stewart. I keep thinking that it's Chevy Stewart, but Alaya has been very, very good in this game. Now Penrith have to attack with their defense. They have to keep Canberra down there and make sure they win the field position battle for the remaining 2 minutes of this game. Caleb, I ain't reading that message. You gotta get up pretty early in the morning to get one past me. The poll at 80% of people saying Panthers are going to get that try. It's looking less likely now. And yeah, look, Danny, I'm not saying that Tigers fans don't show up, but it's a compliment to Newcastle rather than an insult to anybody else. Newcastle really, really do. Penrith do get the ball, spreading it out wide. They've still got 1 minute and 20 seconds to go, so they don't really need to. Just yet. Up past the 40, flirting with the sideline a tad there. Oh no, there's a fair bit of distance actually. Almost in the last minute of the game. Yeah, I definitely stream the Footy Ashes when they're on. See, on the third, 50 seconds to go. Knock on. And there's the rule. Raiders have done it. The Raiders have done it. The comeback was well and truly on. Well and truly on. But it's a deserved win for the Raiders, you'd have to say. Geez, none of them want to be out there anymore. You can understand it. They'd be exhausted. And it is pouring down. My God. NRL head is not happy. Still don't know why this game is at Shark Park though. Deal Flush says, Yo Leaguie hitting up Magic Round this year. I would have loved to. Unfortunately though, Oasis getting back together means my money is spent on them. My money is spent elsewhere. Money that was otherwise going to be spent on Magic Round. But definitely, I think 2026 Magic Round is a big thing for me. That's the game. Hearty in the chat with that Canberra Raiders profile picture saying good game from the young guys, and it certainly was. It certainly was. Your next young crop coming through looks exciting. Owen Paddy absolutely lived up to the hype. So good stuff from the Raiders. Now, I know normally I do stick around a fair bit after these streams, but today I've just got so much to do. I've still got so much to do. It's almost 9:15. So I will be leaving it there. But thank you guys for watching. Keep an eye out on YouTube. You'll be recommended my streams for next week. I'll see what I can do. Might be tough because I'll be doing the preparations for the Sportshed TV charity match on Sunday. Saturday we're going to have a captain's run training session. But we'll see. I'll definitely do whatever I can. So thank you guys for being here. Thanks for hanging out, and I will catch you guys later.